This weekend is, of course, week 6, or week 7 actually. Week 6 was last week. Week 7 of course, the LSU season, as of course we'll be back at home to face off against, of course, the Gamecocks of South Carolina, coming off, of course, a much needed bye week after a rough loss to Ole Miss. So today, of course, we're going over a preview video a little bit. I did do a video for the bye week. If you guys haven't seen it, definitely go check it out. If you guys haven't seen it or anything, so definitely go check it out. Probably will link. Excuse me. Leave a link to that in the description below if you guys want to go check it out. So I mostly just talk about what I wanted to see from us going into the bye week. Mostly it being a rest week, of course, rest week, bye week, off week for LSU with the injuries, and especially for Garrett Nussmeier. So of course there was no review because of course it was a bye week or anything like that. So with that being said, of course, here is the week 7. Can't believe we're already here in week 7, but this is a critical week, critical time here in the season for this LSU team. So we're going to talk about stuff for this upcoming game and talk about a little bit of stuff to potentially, hopefully, look forward to for the rest of the year as well. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, of course, before we get into the video, though, welcome, of course, to the BrewCrew channel. If you guys are new to the channel or haven't yet here on the channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell for future upcoming videos here on the BrewCrew channel. And with that being said, let's go ahead and get into the Week 7 preview for LSU. So, of course, we know that this week, LSU at home, Saturday night in Death Valley, big game against South Carolina. Of course, we know South Carolina is not, of course, great at this point, as, of course, what we saw at the beginning of the year, with them being ranked in the top 10 and all that. They're, of course, 3-2 on the year, 1-2 in SEC and, of course, conference play. We are favored to win this game, but there is still some questions, though, with this game. And those questions sort of being mostly on the offensive side. The only question really for the defensive side is how are we going to stop this still pretty good looking offense, mostly with Lenore Sellers. We know Sellers hasn't really had that great of a Heisman type season that people were potentially hoping. Came off with a good start, but ever since then he's kind of battled with injuries. I think he missed one game, and of course South Carolina has kind of fallen short in a lot of games this year, and a good couple of games this year. I believe they got the win last week, though, which was a critical win for them to kind of get them back and going. But they're coming here into Death Valley. Lenore Sellers coming into Death Valley, playing in Death Valley for the first time, so it would definitely be an interesting task for him, as of course this will be the especially against this defense, which I am definitely excited for. So that's kind of the only question really for the defense is how are they going to stop Lenore Sellers and stop this offense and potentially continue their dominance, as again they're the only kind of bright spot really with our team, as of course most of the questions just really revolves around our offense really. And a few questions being, of course, most importantly, how is Garrett Nussmeier going to be? I have seen, though, with like some injury updates, it does look like he is going to be 100% for this week, 100% for this week for practice, and of course preparing for this upcoming game. And it looks like he could be 100% for the game. Same thing could go for Caden Durham as well, which is pretty big for him, pretty big as well. And mostly those are the two player questions on this offense is, of course, always the run game. They need to get something going with the run game, and hopefully we have some sort of identity in this game. And then we also need a much better performance, especially in SEC play, from Garrett Nussmeier than what we saw from him in the game against Ole Miss. Of course, again, had the week off. Hopefully this week off definitely helps him, and hopefully he can get these numbers up and all that, and definitely will also be the question for the rest of the year is how the rest of the year will go. Of course, he's coming in season-wise with 1,159 passing yards, 7 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Of course, not really eye-popping great numbers, but not really eye-popping great numbers, but I mean, he hasn't really been great against like the conference or anything like that, coming into this season, and hopefully he can definitely have one of his best performance and a better performance. This is going to be a tough defense that we're going to be facing off against, which we'll get into sort of one of the reasons why, with one key thing on our offense, but hopefully, mostly still focusing on Nussmeier still, hopefully he can get to that level of play that we know he can, and hopefully he can reduce the mistakes, make better decisions, not make any wild throws, and not turn the ball over, and that's really going to be the key. But there is a little bit of another big question, but an issue as well, is this defensive line for South Carolina, because they really do have some great defensive linemen, mostly one person, one defensive lineman, where is it? Dylan Stewart, who I believe was a part of the team last year, which, remember, defensive line last year was big trouble for us when we played them last year. They sent a lot of pressure and all that. Of course, we still came out with the win, but it was a close game last year. Potentially could see the same thing, but this is going to be a big test for this offensive line that's been okay, but not been the best, really, of course, this year. Again, with younger talent, newer talent because of injury, and newer starting offensive linemen and other linemen moving around on this line. It's definitely going to be a big test. It's going to be a big test, especially against someone like Dylan Stewart and even Kyle Kennard as well, who is of course an elite edge rusher as well. So those two guys are going to be kind of tough to block, and we'll just see how this offensive line does against this block, as of course that's sort of the bright spot really for this Gamecock defense. And of course Stewart has 3.5 sacks on the year, so he is going to be a man to watch out for already. Sorry, my camera messed up. So he's going to definitely be he's going to be pretty tough. He's going to be pretty tough. Of course, they had the dominant win after 2 straight losses. They just finally got back in the win column against, of course, Kentucky in a one-sided victory. Of course, for us, we're definitely going to have to do something. So those are mostly the questions. Mostly just the one thing with the defense is how are we going to stop Lenore Sellers in this offense? And then, of course, a lot of questions really with the offense. With Nussmeier and Caden Durham potentially looking like 100% and healthy to play in this game against South Carolina after, of course, a much-needed off week. Mostly, how are they going to play, especially with Garrett Nussmeier? How is he going to play? Is he going to reduce the interceptions, the bad decisions, and all that, and make better decisions? And hopefully could lead to a win, and this win could lead to a kind of bounce back second half of the season or so, because it is going to be a tough second half of the season for us for the rest of the year. But hopefully we can definitely bounce back a little bit here. But yeah, those are the sort of questions, sort of issues, and yeah. So I think that's it for everything that I know of. Of course, kind of the key to mostly big key to victory is just our offense as a whole. Just hopefully it can perform better blocking, finding a running identity again, and hopefully Garrett Nussmeier can reduce the mistakes that he had against Ole Miss, and hopefully we can have much bigger plays, especially with the deep balls on this offense as well. So we'll definitely yeah, those are definitely the kind of keys to victory, in my opinion, of this upcoming game this weekend. So yeah, so I guess that's where we'll end this preview. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think about these keys to victory and what you guys are looking for this upcoming game as well. So definitely let me know in the comments down below. And so yeah, if you guys did enjoy this video, let me know as well if you guys enjoyed this video. But if you guys did enjoy this video or whatever, I don't know, I'm repeating myself so many times, hit that like button and hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell for future upcoming videos here on the BrewCrew channel. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys have an amazing day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.